How's it going, everybody? Gamer Wayne, and welcome to my 2023 game room tour. The first thing we'll do to kick off this video is take a look around my new game room. I know what you're saying, but Gamer Wayne, it's 2022. Why are we doing a 2023 game room tour? Well, you know, people are already driving around 2023 cars, and of course you have video games, sports games like NBA 2K23 out already that people are playing. So why not make a 2023 game room tour in 2022? And that's kind of why I decided to go with that. It's been a while since I made a video. Actually, I think the last video I made was my 2021 game room tour, so it's almost been 2 years now. And plus, at the beginning of next year, there's going to be a ton of people releasing game room tour videos, so I just figured why not get this one out early. Now, since my 2021 game room tour, I've gotten rid of over half my collection. The prices, because of COVID or whatever, had skyrocketed so high. They were ridiculous. I was right in the middle of, actually towards the end of collecting my complete in box NES library. I was about 80% complete with that when I decided to sell off that collection. And as you might know, I had the entire N64 complete in box library. Out of NES, Super NES, and N64, that is now my smallest collection. I'm mainly going after games I like to play now rather than complete libraries. So although my collection is a lot smaller, my game room is actually bigger, so I'm able to display stuff I've never been able to display before. A lot of signs, you know, stuff that hung on the walls where before games took up my entire wall space of the game room. So it's really nice to be able to put some stuff out that I was never able to display before. So you may or may not know, I also used to live in Japan. And when I found out I was moving to Japan, that's when I got really heavy into collecting. And I let a lot of other hobbies go, stuff that wasn't going to be over there in Okinawa where I was. Stuff like fishing, the kind of cars I like, all those hobbies I had before moving to Japan were obsolete. I started just focusing on nothing but game collecting. Well, when I got back from Japan back to the States, I didn't have any vehicles, I didn't have any hobbies but game collecting, and I really wanted to get back out there and, you know, revive some of those old hobbies. And so that was a big factor in determining, along with the price, to sell a lot of my collection. So by selling the collection, I was able to fund some of my older hobbies like boating, I was able to buy a new vehicle for the family to get around in, and I was also able to get myself a nice little car to drive around on the side. So now that that's all out of the way, I got the new game room. I'm really excited to get back into collecting. All right, we'll start up here with the signs. Some of these are official, like this World of Nintendo sign. It actually used to have this N64 sign in front of it, but I peeled that off and it was actually a World of Nintendo sign underneath. Oh, come on, come into focus. So this one's official. That was also part of it as well. This is a Super Mario 3D World 1, and it's actually has the appearance like it's 3D by sticking out. It's pretty neat. I really enjoyed that game, so when I saw the sign for that, I had to get it. This Nintendo sign here I made myself out of wood, so it's pretty cool. And this is Breath of the Wild bow from GameStop, and it actually lights up. It's pretty cool. Over here is a Super Nintendo sign I also made myself out of wood and some vinyl that my wife did. Over here is a Grand Theft Auto 5 sign. I believe that's actually part of another standee. But I found that for sale by itself on eBay. Decided to hang it up. Looks pretty good. Over here are some lighted signs. This is a PC Engine one and a Cruisin' World one, and I made both of these myself. They're really neat. There's actually an empty spot over here. I plan on making a third lighted sign pretty soon. I don't know if it's gonna be PlayStation 2 or maybe I'll do a Gamer Wayne one for the channel. I'm not sure, let me know what you think. And finally over here we have this PlayStation VR Demo Today banner. It used to be out in the open till I got that PS4 Kiosk. But yeah, that's one that I was never able to display before because it was so huge. Now it's displayed, but it's hidden behind the PS4 Kiosk. Alright, next let's check out all the games. And you can see that I have a lot less than I used to back in 2021. Starting on the top shelf, I have a few Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color games. I also have some DS and 3DS. There's some pretty good titles in here. Like I said, I'm not trying to go for any complete libraries for anything. I just want to collect what I enjoy to play. I do have some extra games that I'll probably never play, and I'll probably end up selling those eventually. On the next shelf down we have NES. Now this took the hardest hit out of everything I sold, the NES collection. And although NES is my favorite, I really cut down. I mean, who wants to play Barbie, you know? So all these games here, I really enjoy, or I had them as a kid. Other ones that I got rid of that I want to keep, I want to play, like Gun Knack, I'll be going back after mint copies. But this is it for the NES. The next shelf down below that is Super Nintendo. Now what's funny is my NES collection and my N64 collection were the biggest collections I had by far. I actually only had a few, maybe 5 Super Nintendo games, when I had a complete N64 library and a very, very large, like I said, like 80% of the NES library complete in box. I only had a very few Super Nintendo games. Now out of those 3 systems, the Super Nintendo is the one I'm collecting most. And I think that's because, you know, I got so far into the NES library and I had a complete N64 library already that I just wanted to enjoy collecting something new. So right now I'm most actively collecting Super Nintendo, and I gotta stop here for a second. Super Mario World. I just got this in the other day. Oh man, this is a tough one to find complete in box. So I'm really excited about that one. But yeah, Super Nintendo is what I'm after collecting right now the most. And my complete North American N64 library has turned into just a few blocks of games. And I am going back for more N64 games as well, ones that I'll enjoy playing. I'll get them in mint condition, but this is all I have left. And if you remember, I used to display nothing but the green side, and I just changed them to purple. So that's what's left of the N64 collection. Below that is GameCube. I've always had a rather small GameCube collection. Whenever I want a really big game, I usually go for the GameCube games and I sell them to, help fund that big game. And then you have Wii after that, which I also cut a lot of my Wii out, and then Wii U after that. Below that, we have Nintendo Switch. This also used to be a much larger collection. I was kind of collecting them as, they came out. And man, they put out so many good titles and so fast, I just couldn't keep up. So I ended up selling a lot of the Switch collection as well. Finally, the bottom shelf, we have some of the Aftermath. These are some just empty cases and sleeves and styrofoam for NES games that I kept as I was selling. So when I buy these games back, I have some of the foam and already have clear plastic protectors to go on them. This is just some loose Famicom games, just a place to put them basically. And here's my very small Atari collection and games that I was planning on selling. These are mostly empty boxes, but they're in really bad condition, so I don't have them with my main collection. Over here I have my Japanese AV Famicom. That's actually my main NES console. There's a Russian Dindy next to it, and this power pad here I just found out in the wild for 75 bucks at a random store we stopped on. It's complete in box, it's in really excellent condition, and I was really stoked to find it. Below that is just DVDs and Blu-rays. They were never in the game room, also VHS, but I added them to the game room just because I had the extra space and we wanted to clear out our living room. Alright, over here we have PS1, PS2, and PS4 and PS5 stuff over here on these shelves. You'll see a lot of my Japanese PS2, which used to be as big as my American PS2 collection, has dwindled down quite a bit. I tested every single game and found the ones that I will actually enjoy playing, and I sold the rest of them. And that's where the Japanese PS2 ends and the US PS2 begins. And I have some decent titles in here. This is a library that I didn't really clear out yet of all the games that I don't play. It just takes a long time to test them all. Make sure they're all working to be able to sell the ones that I don't want. But I do have some good titles in here, and I have some junk titles in here that I'll never play. But eventually I'll go through and clear it out and just make it good games that I want to play. That way I don't get the idea to try and go for a complete library of this stuff, because it's just so much. Especially when I move around all the time. Over here's my US PS1, and it's a very small library as well. Driver and Driver 2 are my favorite PS1 games, so gotta have those. And then I have a lot of good Japanese PS1 titles that I never got rid of. A lot of shoot 'em ups. So my Japanese PS1 collection is actually bigger than my American one. And below that is my PS4 and PS5 collection, and of course PSVR. This is another one that took a huge hit. I sold a large chunk of my PS4 games while I was selling stuff, so it's not as big as it used to be. It's still pretty big, and I'm also picking up titles for this as I go along, especially PSVR titles I really enjoy. collect them for the PSVR. But the PSVR 2 is coming out soon. So, and I don't have many PS5 games physical, but most of them I download. Right here is my workspace. This is where I ship stuff out, package stuff up. It's where I'll be editing videos. I got a scale right here to weigh packages. This is just an area where I can sit and do work in the game room, which is really nice to have. Under that PC Engine sign I made, we got my last PC Engine console, the Duo RX. That's actually my main console. And then I never really downgraded this collection much. I sold some games, but all these games are good and they're really hard to sell anyways. So that's why I still have most of my PC Engine collection, minus the consoles, which sell really well, and they were awesome to have, but I only need one. And under the Cruisin' World light, we have all the Nintendo systems from the NES to the Wii U. Unfortunately, I could not fit the Switch on this shelf, so it just goes to the Wii U. And this N64 is the one I did the entire N64 Complete in Box Quest on. So that's why I never got rid of that one. And last of the Japanese games is over here. This is my Famicom, Super Famicom, Japanese N64, and Japanese GameCube. Now there's a lot of good titles left in here. You have games like Kokoron, YY World 2, all the good games. I kept them. I even got a copy of Suri Hakun for Super Famicom down here. That's a really good title that I kept. Haven't sold that one yet. There's the Japanese GameCube. And yeah, I really dwindled down my Japanese Nintendo collection. Alright, up next is this M82 console. Now this is one thing I didn't have in my 2021 game room tour. I didn't get this M82 unit until I was like halfway through selling off my NES collection, and then this just fell in my lap. And I had one before, but sold it, and I never thought I would get one back. And then, like I said, I was in the middle of selling everything, and then decided to buy this just because it was such a good deal, and everything works on it 100%. Yeah, it's really awesome. Filled with games and everything. So, and I don't know why this camera isn't focusing, but yeah, you can kind of see some of the games I have loaded in there right now. And down below that, we just have some Scooby-Doo VHSs, and we have the Lego NES and TV. Alright, up next is the PS4 Kiosk. This one I had to turn off because it's so loud. But this thing is awesome. I just got it less than a week ago actually. I traded one of my last heavy-hitting NES games for it, which was Kid Clown. Kid Clown didn't have the poster or anything. Maybe worth $700 to $800, so that's what I got into this console. I'm really excited. I don't know if you've ever seen a PS4 Kiosk before, but that's a dummy console on top. It actually lights up. I don't have it plugged in yet, but the real console is down there below it, and then it locks up on the side, on both sides. And this actually has the corded controller with it, but I still have my PS4 connected to the wireless controllers as well, so I don't need to use that one. And then I don't have the accurate TV that goes on it, but it works. It's a pretty awesome addition to the collection, and now I kind of want to go and find more kiosks and, you know, deep dive into those, because they're just so cool to have. Alright, moving on to the shelves, I have over here some random figurines, some Zelda stuff there on the top. I got this right here when I was in Kuwait on a deployment. some Banjo-Kazooie stuff, pretty cool. Little Nightmares figurine. There's just some random figurines and stuff over here that I display. Some random controllers, and that's Just Cause 3. His little doohickey that he puts on his arm. I love that game, so I got the collector's edition of it. Guitar Hero guitar in the back there. And then I got PS4 sticks for Ace Combat 7. And then I got the Ace Combat 5 sticks, the Japanese version and the US version. Also over here, I have this model of my Corvette. Just as a reminder of, you know, if I ever wonder why my game collection is so small compared to what it used to be, that's a good reminder why, sitting here in the game room. Moving on, we got the PS5 stuff on the top of this shelf. That's a US PS5. This here I also got in Kuwait. It's a limited edition Ramadan controller. Well, the box is limited edition, but it's just a white controller. But the box is really cool, and I think you can only get it out in the Middle East, so pretty neat. Going below there is the PSVR and my PS4 Pro, which is a 500 million sold limited edition. Below that is just some PS4 controllers, and then I have a box PS2 in the back there and a Nintendo Switch headset. I gotta rearrange the shelves around a little bit. I know they're not completely matching yet, but I just moved in this room. I'll eventually move it around to where everything matches. Below that is Nintendo Switch stuff and GameCube controllers. GameCube controllers in the front, and below that is some Switch controllers. There's the Animal Crossing Switch, which is the kids Switch, and then mine is the Super Smash Brothers limited edition one. And below the controllers, we have some Japanese cases. There's a Super Famicom there on the left, another Super Famicom case there in the middle, and then a GameCube on the right. Those are all cool Japanese cases that I never wanted to get rid of. There's my N64 rental case there on the bottom, and then a couple Japanese PS1 games right there. Alright, over here on this shelf we have more Zelda stuff on the top. There's my N64 shelf talker. I got a Super Famicom here. Another case for that. There's a box console right there. Never got rid of that. Below that is a US Rob the Robot Deluxe set NES. I have an employee watch over here. NES Advantage, little Metal Storm figurine. Below that we have the Japanese Rob the Robot with Stack Up and Gyromite. And we got the Famicom Disk System rack to connect the Famicom Disk System to the Famicom. And there's also some Famicom games over here in a case. Power Glove, NES storage cabinet, and another place where I keep loose cartridges. Over here is a Nintendo Switch standee, which I'm actually trying to sell. It doesn't really fit anywhere in the game room. I have to keep moving it around. So I'm working on selling that, but right now it's on display. It's pretty cool. I do like it. Up here is a Wii U sign. When I was heavy into collecting Wii U like I did the Switch, these doors actually slide open and then shut. The sign splits right in the middle, which is pretty cool. It came that way. Down below the Nintendo shelf, in this cube thing, I have Nintendo Power magazines and such. There are some Japanese carts. That's a N64 cart, Super Famicom cart, but there's a Super Nintendo sitting on it. And then you have a Japanese GameCube cart. Those carts are pretty cool. I never got rid of those. I thought they were neat, and you know, I don't want to get rid of all my Japanese stuff. I spent 7 years there collecting, so I want to keep some really cool, unique stuff. Moving over here, we have my consoles that are all hooked up. I got the Japanese and US PS2, an Atari, there's a NES, there's the AV Famicom, that's my main console. You'll see that adapter there, so I can actually play US games on it. My Super Nintendo, the N64 that I completed the N64 Complete in Box Quest on. That console has played all 296 US games. There is a Pokemon GameCube console with the Game Boy player and a Wii. My Wii U is actually in our family room along with our PS5. Over here I have a big CRT TV. I found this for $2 at a thrift shop years ago. So now that these are going up in price a little bit, I'm glad I got this. And this thing was like brand new, had the remote and everything with it. And it was $4, but it was a 50% off day, so it ended up coming out to $2. And there's that cartridge cabinet above that, and that just has some random games in there, some homebrews, multi-carts, stuff like that. There's my Super Smash Brothers Switch, which is not connected to the CRT TV. That one's actually connected to this one, hanging on the wall here. And there's my PSVR, and you'll see these cords here hanging. Those are my PS4. Like I said, I just got that PS4 Kiosk, so I put my PS4 in there for now. I'm gonna get a second PS4 for the kiosk, but that is for my main PS4. And in these drawers and stuff, it's just where I keep the controllers for each of the systems, so I can play them. So that's all that's in those drawers right there. Now these two shelves over here in this corner, you're like, why do you have some big old pink shelves in there in the game room? These actually have a big purpose. I put extra storage up on top of that. I do plan on painting these, maybe like a Wii controller or something like that. I'm not sure how I'm going to paint them yet, but I'm going to do something with them. Sorry about the shadows. In one, I have extra cables and stuff like that, just storage for anything I may need. And in the other cabinet is where I put stuff that I'm selling or going to sell. So this is all stuff that I plan on clearing out of here and selling. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure to subscribe, and I'll be bringing you more videos like this. Until next time, I'm Gamer Wayne, and thanks for watching.